Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Space Muffin and this is the Void Playground. I am joined by none other than mythic X-Men fan and animated series person, Jumpman. Jumpman, how are you doing?
What up, bub?
Excellent. And of course, we are joined by none other than JD. JD, how are you doing today?
Doing all right. What's up, everybody?
Awesome. So look, like this year has been it's been a pretty big year. Last year's been a big year for television and movies. We got a lot of exciting stuff coming up. A lot of disappointments, but a lot of exciting stuff. So let's talk about it. Let's get it over with. I'm not saying that like it's a bad thing, but Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the TV show on Disney Plus, which premiered way back in December, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and then it just got renewed, I believe, for a second season. Is that correct?
Yes.
That is correct.
Okay, so for those of us who are not Percy Jackson fans, Jumpman, what can you say about this series that maybe someone who's never seen the series, maybe they're a little bit interested in? What would you say this is really about? I know it's based off the book series, and I know they made some movies.
I highly recommend it. I definitely recommend it if you're a Harry Potter fan. It's kind of got that vibe, but not. I don't know. It's hard to explain because it's in the real world, but there's magic and you know this whole Greek mythology is hidden in the modern real world. So it does have that kind of parallel to Harry Potter, I guess. And there is like a camp for like half-bloods. So that might be like that version of Hogwarts, I guess you could say if you're a Harry Potter fan.
Interesting, very interesting. JD, what about you? Someone who's never heard of Percy Jackson, how would you get them into this? What would you recommend?
Okay, if you have never watched or read the books, it has Greek mythology, has all the Greek gods. It has magic. It has adventure, comedy. Overall, a very, very good series to watch. We don't talk about the movies. Stay away from the movies. Watch the series instead. There you go.
Okay, so stay away. Okay, so read the books, watch the series. Movies are X-nay, right?
Yes.
Okay.
We don't talk about the Percy Jackson fans. We don't talk about the movies.
Okay, got it. I will keep that in mind for when I am on my Percy Jackson binge. So let's talk about the cast real quick before we kind of start getting into the episodes. Walter, is it Scobell? How do you feel about him as Percy Jackson?
He was good. The cast is great in my opinion overall. I haven't read the books though. I think JD has though.
And JD, how would you feel about the main cast?
So the main cast is slightly different from what the books portray them as. And okay, so we're bringing them to a modern age, right? Mm-hmm. So when it comes to this series that Disney Plus is doing, they're working closely with the author of the book. And the author of the book has to greenlight everything. So that's basically why this one's better than the movies. But when it comes to the casting of the main three, at first I was very concerned about it because, spoiler alert, Annabeth is not black. She is white with blonde hair and stuff like that. But I really, really did like how they went about it and decided to change Annabeth's character and everything like that. Because, nowadays, who cares what the character looks like? It's really up to the author, it's up to the creators behind the story, behind the series and stuff like that. And unlike the movies, the author, the guy who really wrote the books is working closely with the production company, with Disney and stuff. So he greenlight the character, he greenlight the person that's playing Annabeth. And overall, I have to say, she's a very good actress. I really like her in this series. She's very good.
That's awesome. That's really good way to put it, JD. So let's kind of just take a couple steps backwards. Let's talk about the books real quick because I think you know for Percy Jackson fans, so JD, you had the main series, you had the Lightning Thief came out in 2005, then the Sea Monsters 06, the Titans Curse 07, Battle of the Labyrinth 08, The Last Olympian 09, and there was a massive gap, right, in between 09 and 2023. With the Chalice of the Gods. Have you read all the books?
I only read the main books. I haven't read the ones that they dive into Roman gods. So only the Greek mythology gods I've read, but not the Roman gods.
Okay, so for those of us who do not know how many series are there? There's Percy Jackson and the Olympians, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And then other stuff.
Yeah. So basically the core of Percy Jackson is the books that you just said, from Lightning Thief all the way to The Last Olympian. So that is the core of the books, basically. It's kind of like Harry Potter from Sorcerer's Stone all the way to Deathly Hallows. And then they add on, J.K. Rowling add on the Curse of the, oh my gosh, got that book name. The Curse of the Death or whatever? Curse.
The Cursed
Child. Cursed Child. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, so basically it is an add-on. So the core of the books is those books where Percy Jackson, Lightning Thief, Sea of Monsters, Battle of the Labyrinth, and so on and so forth. Those are the core books.
What about Chalice of the Gods? And then there's a new one coming out, Wrath of the Triple Goddess?
I have not read those yet. I am getting around to reading it now. So I will have to get back to you guys later when I'm done reading it.
Okay, so let's talk about the series. So we just got into talking about the books. How does the series cover multiple books, or does it really just kind of stick to one book?
So for season 1, it covers The Lightning Thief.
Okay.
Season 2, I believe, is going to cover the Sea of Monsters.
Yeah, that's what I imagined. They're just going to do one book per season.
Okay, I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
I think that's wonderful. I think they're trying to do the same thing with Harry Potter. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm hoping the Percy Jackson series is giving me some hope that the Harry Potter series will be good.
Okay.
And like I don't know.
Okay, so let me ask you guys this. So we're before we so the plot kind of covers Lightning Thief. Okay, great. JD, how well does this series stick to the source material?
When it comes to the source material, it sticks pretty well. There are a few changes that the writers and like the authors and everybody have made in the team. But overall, it's pretty almost accurate to the book.
Okay. So let me ask you this: as far as the visual effects go, where I mean, because in a lot of these Disney shows and a lot of shows today and a lot of movies today, the visual effects are kind of people kind of, I'll just put it like, they haven't been as good. I'll put it that way, right? In a lot of movies, a lot of AAA movies, a lot of big budget. Sorry, I bumped my mic. A lot of big Hollywood movies. John, man, how do you feel about the visuals in this series?
It was good. It was. The visuals are good. I'm trying to think of a really standout moment. I think when they were actually in Hades' underworld, I think some of the stuff that went on in there was pretty cool.
Okay.
That might, or some, and maybe some of the underwater stuff.
So we're going to kind of hop around a little bit, kind of going, so back to the series, as far as, each individual episode goes. So is this one of those shows where it's like, it takes a couple episodes to get into, like Andor, or is it like it starts off really amazing, or is like, oh, okay, the first 2 episodes were okay, but then it gets way better? Where, Jumpman, do you think this series, the pacing and just the overall consistency of the episodes?
I feel like the pacing is overall pretty good. Yeah, I guess the first episode might have been kind of slow starting off, but I think from the second episode on,
Okay.
it's overall good, I think.
Okay, so and I know they usually premiere the first 2 episodes now on Disney Plus of things, just because of that reason that you mentioned, right?
Good.
And did they do that with this show where they had the first 2 episodes come out on the same day?
Yes, they did. It was because the second episode was actually, so the series itself was actually delayed a little bit, so that's why they released the 2 episodes and decided to do that instead.
Okay, interesting. So, now Jumpman, was there a standout? I guess, episode for you?
I don't know if there's a standout episode, but I guess it's the one episode where we see them go into the tunnel of love, and then the song "What Is Love" by Hadaway is just playing.
Oh, that's fun.
Was that actually in the book, JD? What was Hadaway's "What Is Love" mentioned in the book at all?
No, it was not. It was just the tunnel of love.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well, anyway, the Hadaway that song choice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was actually a good song choice.
Yeah. So, kind of just the production of this. So it sounds like it's been in production for a while. It started production in 2020. Obviously, COVID and all that fun stuff. And the showrunners were announced in 2021, and they were cast in 2022, and all this stuff. Have you guys been following the production of this, or was it kind of just like kind of a surprise for you guys?
So when they announced it, I started following the production. I started diving in to see who they cast and who is going to be who. Because honestly, I was afraid of the movie 2.0. Basically, I thought they were going to botch it again, because especially, Disney, you know how we feel about Disney botching our beloved series.
I understand.
Yeah, so for me, I tightly monitored who was going to get casted, who was going to be in it, and how the story is going to go and everything like that. And once I found out that Rick Riordan, the author of the actual books, is going to be on the team and every step of the way with the team, that gave me more of ease, because the fact that he's the author, he's the original creator of the books, and for him to create this series is really pretty good. It's you can put your mind at ease when you know that the author is going to work closely with the production. Because the fact is that, a little fun fact is that, if you guys don't know about the movies, Rick Riordan was actually supposed to work with Fox and work with them on the production, but the writer team decided to not take any of his word. They didn't even read the book, and they just went their own separate way and did a terrible job with the movies, essentially.
All right, so let's. I know we don't talk about the movies, but let's talk more about the movies for a second, because I've seen maybe little bits and pieces of some of the movies, but I've never actually seen the movies. The first one came out in 2010? Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, around there.
And okay, so now look, JD, you're a huge Percy Jackson fan. You're going into the theaters to see Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. You're excited. You come in, and how did you feel coming out of that movie? Did you have episode 1 syndrome, where you were kind of in denial for a little bit, or were you just immediately crushed?
I was in the fence, basically. I was in between. I was more okay. If I had to lean one way, I was leaning more disappointed and crushed. Yeah.
Okay. And I know, okay, so that movie came out, and I think didn't they make a sequel?
Yes. The Sea of Monsters.
Okay. So now you're like, hey, you know what? First one's probably not that great. They probably botched a little bit. Were you going into the second one saying, hey, you know what? Maybe they've learned their lesson, maybe this, or what was your attitude going into the second one?
I honestly didn't watch the second one until a couple years after it released.
Oh, okay. So you were just like, you know what? I'm not. You're not getting me twice. We're gonna wait till this comes out. And I know there was another one planned, but then they canceled it. So, Jumpman, what was your kind of experience watching the movies?
I watched the movies. The thing is, I've never read the books. So when I saw the movies, I thought they were okay. But that's just I don't know. It's just me. I didn't think they were bad. I didn't think it was great. It was just kind of a meh for me. But I can definitely see where JD's coming from, though, especially after having watched the TV series. Because it's been a while since I've seen the movies, but from what I can remember, I definitely enjoyed the series more.
So the TV series, as JD, as you mentioned, is it's like, hey, don't watch Lightning Thief, watch the TV series. Is kind of that's been the theme that I've been understanding. Now, the other question is this. Okay, so usually, I mean, look, we've got a lot of book-based shows coming out. The Wheel of Time. There's obviously Lord of the Rings, which some people love it, some people hate it. There's all kinds of crazy stuff, and what my hope is that maybe this doesn't have that season one syndrome. Hopefully they do just as good, and it seems like there's competent filmmakers here, right? Competent people. They got the right guy cast. They have the right cast. They have the right, a lot of good things happening. And it sounds to me like they're relatively following, the source material pretty close. So, I guess my question then becomes this, JD. Obviously, I mean, you're probably really excited, or are you still like, hey, you know what? This was really great, but just I know Disney, they might botch season 2. Or how do you feel, JD?
So for this series in particular, I feel hopeful because Disney is working with the author again. Like the author is working on the project with them. Mm-hmm. He made an announcement a while ago saying that he's going to work on the entire series with them. So I'm very hopeful for at least for this series. I'm very hopeful.
Very good. Very good. What about you, Jumpman? How are you feeling?
I feel about the same. I've not read the books, but I do feel like it's going to be good. I feel like I'm pretty confident season 2 will be good.
Now, JD, I didn't ask you, but was there any particular episode for you, JD, that stuck out that was like, hey, this was a standout episode, or were they all pretty consistent throughout the whole series?
They are pretty consistent throughout the series, to be honest. There are a few scenes in each episode where I was like, oh, that's different from the book. But again, they tweaked it just a bit, but they still kept it with the source material, kind of like flowing with the source material, but tweaked it just a little bit, which I liked, I liked when they tweak it just a little bit, but still keep to the source material. That's fine, as long as you're not going too far away from the source material, then that's fine,
So, real quick, Jumpman, you're a music guy. How did you feel about the soundtrack, the audio? How did you feel about just what they did with the audio and the sound and the music?
The soundtrack was good. It was good. It's serviceable. I can't think of any themes that are I would say are iconic or memorable.
Okay.
But I guess on a music related topic, I guess one of the interesting casting choices for Percy Jackson was who they cast for Hermes. That's Lin-Manuel. He wrote the music for Encanto and Moana.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He also did Hamilton and
he's like a rapper and Latin artist, I believe.
Yeah, he did In the Heights. Yeah, he's pretty
Yeah.
good. Okay, cool. Yeah, and how did you feel about? You like that casting choice?
It's an interesting casting choice that kind of surprised me,
Interesting.
but it kind of I guess it makes sense with Disney. It's like, hey, you you wrote great music for two great Disney films. You want to appear in Percy Jackson series or
Mhm.
something? I'm just kind of
Wow.
imagining how that conversation went with
Yeah.
Disney.
So I
So-
mean, in closing, we're going to kind of wrap it up. But JD, closing thoughts. What are your kind of closing thoughts on the series?
I can't wait for season 2. That's all I have
JD
to say.
JD can't wait for season 2. Jumpman. What about you?
I'm looking forward to it. I don't know if I'm at the same level as JD, but I'm looking forward to it.
Okay, so now you have to read the books, Jumpman.
Now I have to read the books.
Now Jumpman's got to read the book. So look, guys, there you have it. Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the TV series. It's out now on Disney Plus. You can watch the entire series. For those of you who do not know, we do have multiple YouTube channels. We have The Void Gaming, for those of you who are interested in Call of Duty and Fortnite and Valorant and things like that. We have The Void Strategy, which is our newest YouTube channel, which we go over strategy games like Warcraft Rumble and things like that. And of course, we have The Void Playground, where this is our podcast. So, leave some comments on what you guys want to see, and we will make sure it gets done. But we appreciate everybody, and we appreciate your support. Visit thevoid.gg. We'll see you in the next episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.